All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it up. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Business show in RVA. On the mic with Mike in RVA.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic, the premier business radio program. Wait.
Are you not using your mics?
Sorry, I forgot. It has been a minute. Okay, excuse me, 1 second, sorry.
All right.
It's been a while. I'm recording with mine.
Okay.
So here, let me, okay,
All right.
we're good. Step to me just a little. There we go. All righty, Kim, we are ready?
3, 2, 1.
Ladies and, oh no, I need to start over with the.
Oh, okay. We go 3, 2, 1.
Mike King says.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it up. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Business show in RVA. On the mic with Mike in RVA.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On with Mike, On the Mic with Mike. It is the premier business radio program around. I'm your host, Mike King. I appreciate you being here with me. So we're here today at ESPN Studios. This is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1, The Choice 105.3, as well as International Business Growth Radio. That is Saturdays, 10 a.m. We're joined by a friend of the family. She is part of the world famous Van Turnbull crew. Beth Van Turnbull is here with us of Housing Family First. Welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
All right, I always say it's a business, so start out and tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Beth Van Turnbull, and I am Executive Director of Housing Families First. And our mission is to give families that are facing homelessness the opportunity to start building a family legacy by taking that first step and moving into permanent housing. And for us, that's rental housing. So we have the largest shelter for families with children in the region. That's a short-term stopover to get support and make that plan to move into permanent housing. But we have 2 other programs as well, Building Neighbors Rapid Rehousing, and that helps families with higher barriers to find and move into rental housing. We help pay those costs and then work with them up to a year to really stabilize. And then bringing families home works with 3 local school systems, Richmond, Henrico, and Chesterfield, and they can refer students and families who are facing homelessness as well to get help, again, moving into an apartment or a rental home with a rent.
The first program with a higher barrier, does that mean like maybe disabilities or something like that?
It could be. It means a lot of different things. So it means you may have high eviction debt. You may have a large family size. And the reason that's an issue is just it's more expensive and it's harder to find a 4-bedroom than a 2-bedroom.
Yes.
You know, so that sometimes people have a mental health challenge. Sometimes people have a physical disability, adult in the family that's a dependent because they have an intellectual disability. It can be any number of things. And we kind of assess together that this family would have a harder time securing and keeping housing on their own because they really have to juggle so many different things.
All righty, Beth is here with us, Housing Family First. They're doing some amazing things out there. My partner, Lisa Triney, and I were just there the other day. When people think of a shelter, it ain't what you guys have.
No.
It's not. And so let's talk a little bit about, so when your team is amazing. When we hit the door, we're immediately met by the loving gentleman.
Rodney.
So, and he set you at ease already, because you
Correct.
guys know it's a tough time that the people are coming in. They're kind of in flux. They don't know what they're going to expect and what they're going to get.
Exactly right.
And so let's talk about the facility that you guys have, because you guys are in the middle of a build right now, which is exciting.
We are thrilled and excited. We are in the middle of what we call our Opening Doors for Families campaign, and that is helping do some major renovations and expansions at our shelter facility and improvements on the campus, because we opened in 2000 with a program, Hilliard House, which is still what our shelter's called. And at that time, we housed about 15 to 20 families a year, and that's all we did. And now we house at least about 50 families in that same facilities a year, but we have two even bigger programs that I mentioned that are all based there as well. So we were just out of space. We've had 20 years of kids living there, and
Yes,
kids are kids. They can throw a ball through a window, they can hang off all your knobs. You have to redo things, and you have to replace your water heaters and things like that. So we're doing that to add some space. And each family in our shelter gets their own bedroom and bathroom. We're the only one in the region that do that. And that was really the vision of our founders. They wanted it to be a safe space, a welcoming space. We always work to keep everybody's vision back into moving into their own place.
Because when we talked before, the amount of time people stayed with you guys was longer.
It used to be up to 2 years, but we've transitioned to what they call housing first. Why make people stay at a place a really long time when it's cheaper and so much better for the family, less traumatic, to just know where you're going to live and move there.
But there are little things that you guys take into account.
Yes.
Everyone has their own bathroom. You
Correct.
keep families together. You have bunk beds.
Yep.
Who can now? I'm an expert on bunk beds. I told you my
Yes,
story.
you did.
I was the only kid for a long time who had a bunk bed.
Yep.
Because I love bunk beds. A certain child has to be there to be a certain age to be in the bunk beds.
You have to be 6 or older to be on a bunk bed. So our rooms are set up that if we have kids, and we often do, less than 6 years old, they have to be on the bottom bunk.
And you guys bling out the bottom bunk
We will.
sometimes to help people feel comfortable.
Exactly. So, a 4 and 5 year old, they see that bunk bed, they head straight for that ladder.
Yes.
You can't do that. But what we tell them is our shelter case manager, Ashley, she's got things, she can make it into a fort. She can make it into more like a little princess space. That a group that works with us gave us like bows and little scarves and decorations where you can like decorate around the bottom bunk. So it's like your own little princess space or your own little fort. And then they really love it. We had a family move in this week, and the little girl who was 5 went straight for that top bunk, and we're like, nope, can't do that. But then I said, but we can make it into like a princess bed. She's like, I want the princess.
So it's Beth Van Termal is here of Housing Family First, Mike King. We got to give a shout out to my man, Will Melton, who's out there. He's a big supporter of your program.
He is. He's on our board. He is helping co-chair the community campaign. We are $26,000 away from ending our total goal.
And that's right. And so now you
And
guys
he's the co-chair.
if there's somebody who can get the money, it's Will Melton. That's
right.
for sure. So you guys put a big goal out there, a big number.
Right.
And let's talk about how close you are.
All right. So $4.4 million campaign, and that was to do these shelter expansions and renovations, but it also has helped us expand programs. It was this campaign that allowed us to start that whole school partnership called Bringing Families Home. Sorry. Thank you. But we, received a grant from the Robbins Foundation in 2020 that's part of this campaign that helped us launch that school partnership. Because what we found was a lot of families live in hotels or doubled up. They have students.
Mhm.
It makes it harder to attend school, get to work, you're moving around. And so they gave us the funds to help launch that program. And now the school homeless service offices, which are called McKinney-Vento offices, or in Richmond, it's called the Center for Families in Transition. They can refer families to us, and we can help them get out of the hotel, because if you can pay for a hotel, you can pay rent. But what they can't do is come up with 2 months security deposit, first month's rent. That is hard for anybody. And so, especially now with the rental rates really escalating even as we're coming out of the pandemic. So, we work with those families to get them back into housing.
One of the things that we talked about as well was, so when a person comes to the facility, you see them, they're in shock, sort of, they're kind, it's a
There's
tough
people
time.
who've never been in shelter. Some people have before, but it's a different shelter. Often people are afraid they are going to be in a big room with cots, and that's okay. Those shelters are doing great work. But for families with children, it was the vision of our founders that they come in and they're going to meet with Ashley, the case manager, and do the basics, and then they're going to go to their own room and bathroom. And we have 11 rooms, and we can have up to 40 children and adults at a time. And often people are so stressed. Obviously, because they've had to move from pillow to post, they don't know where they're coming. They don't know what it's going to be like. And they see that room, and either one of the parents tears up. This week we had a bilingual social worker come with the family to move in to help with translation and things like that for this particular family. And she teared up because she had no idea what it was going to be like. And parents are so afraid they're going to be in a big room with their kids, with people they don't know. And so when they say, oh, actually, no, this is our own room, it's like this wave of emotion and relief washes over. And we're proud of that. Like we also feel families can do better and be more focused on, whether it's increasing their income or applying for, apartments and things, if they're not afraid, if they know they can take a breath, and then we can start talking about housing, and that's what we want to do, make it a safe stopover of about 30 to 60 days and focus on that vision for the community. When we did, that was the popular model. People lived up to 2 years in our facility, 20 years ago, but really had a really wise shelter manager tell me once, your vision shrinks to what your life is. And that's so we can get through the day. But we don't want people's vision of their life to shrink to the size of our shelter. So everything is about moving into your own place. So when they walk into their room, we have nothing but new comforters, new pillows, new sheets on the bed, all the, full-size shampoo, laundry detergent, what
and
they
it's
need.
all set up in there for them.
Yes.
And then what you guys say is when they leave, it's theirs. So
we're saying this isn't like somebody else's pillow and comforter. This is yours to take to your own place. So from the minute they get there, nobody wants to sleep on a used pillow. I mean, we do in hotels, but nobody wants a really old used pillow. So the community, gives us thousands upon thousands upon thousands of in-kind donations of new items. And that is a big part of how we, are able to operate. And we say, this is all yours. This is the shelter pillow and laundry detergent. These are for you. And this is to take to your own home with you. And so from that minute, we're setting the stage. We're moving forward. We want you to feel good here, and we're moving to your own place.
On the mic with Mike, Beth to share with us Housing Family First is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, ESPN Richmond 106.1 every day from 5 to 7. The Choice 105.3 every day from 2 to 3, as well as International Business Coach Radio. As I always say, changing the world ain't cheap, easy, or free. So let's do a shout out to some of the folks who help make magic happen for you. One, let's talk about volunteers. You guys have the staff, which is a rock star staff, but you also have volunteers who come in and pitch in and play the support role. And then you have the people, the business community that supports you guys.
Absolutely. So volunteers, as you mentioned, one of the very hardest things about the pandemic is running a safe shelter during an outbreak.
I can imagine.
But on top of that is we had, literally hundreds of volunteers come and work with us and do really important, crucial things for us. And we had to shut all that down. However, over the past couple months, we've been able to safely welcome volunteer groups back. We limit the size, but we are able to bring volunteer groups back. And we've already had groups coming in. And that has been amazing. Volunteers give over 6,500 volunteer hours a year. That's like 4 staff or something like that. That's like 4 full-time staff hours, So they're doing that for us. And we have amazing volunteer groups from school groups. St. Catherine and St. Christopher's came out, Catholic Art Work Group. In the past, the Federal Reserve has come. We had a huge volunteer group on Red Day, which was Keller Williams West big. They helped us get everything ready to open the shelter with its renovations and things like that. So one of our big and most consistent volunteer groups is the AKA ORO chapter out of Henrico and surrounding areas. And
Shout out. Okay, we got to give a shout out to my friend Dr. Danny and all the AKAs out there, including Danielle Gilbert. So, really committed to the community. One of the things I did notice is when we went to the facility, you're building a new door. And so it's two different doors.
Right.
You said one is the privacy of the people who you guys are who are staying with you, and it's the others for everyone else.
Right, correct. Before I get in trouble, I have to mention that DST also supports us before.
Well, my sister's one. Okay, so yeah, we don't want to leave out the Deltas. Okay, that's out there.
But yes, part of the vision for this building is before everybody came in the same door. Families who were living with us, all the volunteers, all the staff, donors, visitors, everybody. And as we're adding about 4,000 square feet of space, one thing we're doing is we have now made a private entrance on the shelter just for our shelter families and guests that are living with us. So now they walk straight up to a little, it's a little porch covered area that they walk into. Walk straight into their space. We have that's
the space around back where Rodney is.
Yes.
And the new building is where you're where everyone else comes in.
That's going to be the big public entrance. It's modern looking. It looks like a business office, and we're building that. So there's two other programs, the Building Neighbors, Rapid Rehousing, and the Bringing Families Home School Partnership Housing Program. All those families will be able to come in there. We've got flex office space, a bathroom, and kind of one of the highlights of this new whole renovation is near that new business interest. We're going to have what we call the boutique, which we've always had, but it's been this tiny little closet room way back.
You guys are going fancy now.
So now the boutique, you walk in, and this is where families pick out dishes, shower curtains, cleaning supplies, the basics you need to move into an apartment, because you get there and you're like, oh, I need a shower curtain to take a shower. And so we wanted to set them up to have a pot, a pan, some dishes, a shower curtain, a trash can, like very basic. So they get in their place and they can pick these items out in the boutique. So now volunteers and donors will be able to walk right in, put the new sheets on the shelf, the cleaning supplies, see exactly what we need. Also, the families can come in, work with their case manager. Rodney does a lot of that too, our program operations coordinator, who, as you mentioned, welcomes families and people into the shelter side of the building, and they can go right in and pick out, I need these dishes, I'll take this pot, and this item, because families across all three programs use that to get set up in their place. And so that's going to be larger with shelving at a convenient location for both people who are donating items and families who are coming in to pick out things. And so we'll also have a tiny volunteer room with a few lockers and a hand sink. So you have a place to put your stuff and wash your hands when you come in as a volunteer.
One of Mike, Beth Van Turnbull of Housing Family First is here with us. We're talking about the amazing team that they have over there. Let's give a shout out to your team. And also, so you came through some tough times with COVID. Yes. I can imagine what it was for you guys. I mean, it was tough for everyone. Yeah. But we're come to talk about setting the culture for your team, holding things together. And when did you see the light that said, okay, we might make it out of this thing, okay?
Well, one thing about this team, and this is true, we have a total of 21 staff, and that's our, we have to have overnight staff all night, and we have staff in the day and weekend staff. So to succeed and really feel like you're part of the Housing Families First team and culture, you have to be folks that are both collegial and collaborative and really focused on getting things done. Like, families need housing, we have to get it done. So you have to be solution focused, and you have to be willing to support your teammates and families. So that's what's important. We have a job open on Indeed right now, if someone would like to look at that job as well. But it's
okay, wait a second, you can't do that. You got to talk. What's the job that you guys are looking for?
It's a family housing case manager for Bringing Families Home. That's the school partnership to help families. But a lot of what you're doing is helping families find apartments and move in. It's that's hard work right now.
There's
not
true.
A lot of vacancies.
Not a lot of.
So you got to be prepared to help families that have different challenges find a place in a tight rental market that'll work for them, and help negotiate the lease and inspect it and all of those kind of things, and support the family in that process. So it's on Indeed right now.
let's talk about the folks who come to the nonprofit world. Are they the same person? They just look different. Because you really have to find that person who has it in their heart.
Right.
You guys ain't doing it to get rich.
We're not getting rich. And it's that combination. You have the heart and the mission, but it's a business. As you know, the mic ain't free and nonprofits ain't free. We don't get any breaks on utilities, or people still need to be paid and eat. So you have to be both this business that has to operate and be strategic and smart, at the same time holding that people come to us in crisis in their lives, and to be able to hold that, and people can be emotional or afraid or whatever, because they're very stressed in this period in their lives. So you have to be able to be calm and hold that and help support. The family's in charge of their lives and their decisions, but we are there to accompany and support that, and to be able to do that. But it's still a business, you know, and we have to follow grant rules, and we have to make sure we thank donors and welcome volunteers, and, you know, honor the journey and the privacy of our families at the same time.
On the mic with Mike, Beth, so how can people find you out there?
housingfamiliesfirst.org. It's all spelled out, housingfamiliesfirst.org. The jobs on Indeed, we have, and I mean this seriously, one of the best volunteer websites you will ever see that Julie does for us. So if you go on and there's Give Help, you can look at volunteer opportunities. You can make a donation to that campaign. We want one new donor a day, and we only have $26,000 left. So, and we are a place that we try to be well run. We make a difference. We work with about 650 kids and adults a year. So we do, but we are not a place that any gift is too small, because every gift matters to us. We're not the fundraising juggernaut.
You are going to hear something about that on the mic with Mike. We're going to hear spots, because you guys are trying to raise how much from each person?
Well, we'd like a new donor a day, and we have 26,000 left. So if we had, 200 people give 100, or we had 1,000 people give 20, or whatever it takes to get this done. But $5 and $10 gifts matter to us as much as big gifts.
Go over to the website, ladies and gentlemen. On the mic with Mike. Beth is here with us. We'd like to thank you for coming in. They're doing some outstanding things out there. Shout out to your team who invited us in and showed us what type of magic you guys are doing. So on the mic with Mike, ESPN Richmond 106.1, as well as The Choice. What we do is we give back to the community and showcase RVA in a different way. We'd like to thank our sponsors. So make sure you check them out and support them. You'll hear them online because I always say the microphone ain't free. Plus my grandkids need stuff. So we'll be back. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks now.
Thank you.